then rode away. Just about the time when Bilbo was finishing the second cake, and beginning to think that he had escaped adventures very well. The next day, he had almost forgotten about Gandalf. He did not remember things very well, unless he put them down on his engagement tablet, like this.
Gandalf, tea, Wednesday.
Yesterday, he had been too flustered to do anything of the kind. Just before tea time, there came a tremendous ring on the front doorbell, and then he remembered. He rushed and put on the kettle, and put out another cup and saucer, and an extra cake or two, and ran to the door.
I am so sorry to keep you waiting.
He was going to... Not Gandalf. It was a dwarf with a blue beard, a golden belt, and very bright eyes under his dark green hood. As soon as the door was opened, he pushed inside, just as if he had been expected. He hung his hooded cloak on the nearest peg, and...
Dwalin, at your service,
he said with a low bow.
Bilbo Baggins, that yours?
Said the hobbit, too surprised to ask any questions for the moment. When the silence that followed had become uncomfortable, he added,
I am just about to take tea. Pray, come and have some with me.
A little stiff, perhaps, but he meant it kindly. And what would you do if an uninvited dwarf came and hung his things up in your hall without a word of explanation? They had not been at table long. In fact, they had hardly reached the third cake, when there came another even louder ring at the bell.
Excuse me,
said the hobbit to the door.
So you've got here at last.
That was what he was going to say to Gandalf this time, but it was not Gandalf. There was a very old-looking dwarf on the step, with a white beard and a scarlet hood, and he too hopped inside as soon as the door was open, just as if he had been invited.
They have begun to...
he said when he caught sight of Dwalin's green hood hanging up. He hung his red one next to it, and...
Balin, at your service,
he said with his hand on his breast.
Thank you,
said Bilbo with a gasp. It was not the correct thing to say, but done to arrive had flustered him badly. He liked visitors, but he liked to know them before they arrived, and he preferred to ask them himself. He had a horrible thought that the cakes might run short, and then he, as the host, he knew his duty and stuck to it however painful. He'd have to go.
Come along in, and...
He managed, after taking a deep breath.
a little beer would suit me better, if it is all the same to you, my good sir.
Said Balin with the white beard.
But I don't mind some cake, a seed cake, if you have any.
Lots.
Bilbo found himself answering, to his own surprise, and himself scuttling off too, to the cellar to fill a pint beer mug, and then to a pantry to fetch 2 beautiful round seed cakes, which he had baked that afternoon for his after-supper morsel. When he got back, Balin were talking like old friends. As a matter of fact, they were brothers. Bilbo plumped down the beer and the cake in front of them, when loud came a ring at the bell again, and then another ring.
Gandalf for certain this time,
he thought as he puffed along the passage. But it was not. It was 2 more dwarves, both with